Hello everyone, and welcome to another UGS stream. So today, yes indeed, it's me, the programmer. I'm your host for this stream today, thankfully. I hope I'm gonna knock this 3 times on wood. So, previous week was supposed to be programming, Programmer's Week. It was supposed to be me streaming, but the internet gods wasn't really my friend those days, so my stream is today. And as you can see, I'm just doing a sneak peek in here on the top. This is my OBS things. So for now there's 0% frames drop, so I really hope it stays that way. Let's just hope this 4G internet stays as good as it is. Obviously, I'm streaming on, I almost say potato quality. People call this HD, high definition resolution, although 720p might as well call it potato these days, with the 4Ks and whatnot. But it's not dropping. My internet is kinda, holding together. Let's just hope it stays that way. Yes, prayers in chat. Yes, indeed. With, ISPs, which is the same old story over and over and again, because, ISP is gonna ISP every time and screw us one way or another. Let's just focus on positive things and, looking our beautiful website. Yes, indeed, we have a updated website. We have seen this in past few streams, and it has been tweaked a little bit, and it's a constant growth. There has been a constant evolution. Yes, indeed. Since before the website that scrappy together website that I have made, and when Roxy take over and made an actual updated website for us, and has been tweaking stuff. I see there's new things like this support button, support us, in there. And also some tweaks here and there, stuff, beautiful things happening in here. So yes, there is an updated website. Classic Kaado stream equals checking is how is website doing. Somehow, yes. But, this is on purpose. Because I always thought of the plugs. Yes, indeed. We need to, the call for action, And what a beautiful way for call for action instead of, doing that typical ad break. We have merch and whatnot and blah blah blah. You can, talk that we have a website that has a support us button, that frictionless advertisement, We always have to stay on top of that. Yes, check our merch though. Yes, indeed. So, we are not here for a website, obviously. We are here for the games. It wouldn't be a UGS stream without our beautiful motto, focus on the game. So yes, indeed, we have games on development, and as usual, we are going to stay development on Droian. But before we go on Droian, Legion is dying, lol. It's selling like a god church. Well, I'm not, doing a crusade and telling people you must, come into our religion or we chop your heads off. But, it's something like, well, there is our website. Oh god, that reference. I have to do it, I have to do it. Only a D&D is Young Crusades. That's kind of an idea, well, the mill is yours as a paladin, you know? And it's kind of funny you made that plug because for people who don't know what we are talking about, we have made some special streams on Christmas, which was basically our team having fun on D&D, on a D&D campaign, and it's actually available on YouTube. So thank you for the other plug. You can basically click on socials and there's a YouTube link in there on our website as well. All the links are available on the description. Let me just mute this thing right now. But yes, indeed, we have a D&D campaign of the well, it's a VOD stream of our D&D campaign and it's available on YouTube as well. So check our channel. If you are kind enough, leave a subscribe. It's always welcome. As well, follow on this stream. The stream we are doing right now on, Twitch. We kind of appreciate that. But, all our streams usually will be available on YouTube as well as a VOD. And yes, it was some time ago, it was on Christmas time, somewhere around in here. Why I'm searching for it, I don't know, but, it's somewhere. That Frontier, it was not this, although this stream was fun as well. Where is the... There you go! 4 months ago, 3 months ago, we have 2 special streams of D&D special, and as well you can see our beautiful faces in real life. Yes, indeed. I'm streaming with the Bongo Cat thing, this 2D V2 thing, because I don't want to stream with my laptop stupid low quality webcam, and as well gives me an excuse to not, doing it, what can I say? That typical wardrobe that a person that works at home usually use. So basically, I'm dressing in pajamas right now. There you go. But yeah, I don't have a proper webcam right now to stream, unfortunately. My Logitech has broken. It was that old Logitech that streamers always used to use. For some reason it doesn't work, but there you go. There's that. Work from home fit. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm a shy boy. Yes, yes. In my pajamas. There you go. There you go. So, with this aside, channels and socials and whatnot, that's all beautiful and all, but we are here for another thing. Yes, indeed. We are here for the games. So we are working on some games. We have Red Run. It's the alpha available on itch.io, so link in the description as well, including the X-Area, which is the another alpha that we have available on itch.io, and it's a game that we are developing in Godot 2. And when I say 2, I say it's not the game that we are developing today, because we have been developing Droian, our current game, which is the game that we are trying to release in the meantime. So soon, TM, very soon, let's just say soon, TM, and not really soon. It's a work in progress, let's just say that. And it's as well being developed in Droian. This has been very soon, I will say it's soon very, very TM. Just for the memes. Yes. Which basically means it's not soon. It's going to take a while to be released. But we are working on it. And yeah, for those who haven't catch up and haven't seen previous streams, you can see that we have been working on this game for a while. It was originally Unity project, yes. And because there was all that controversy going on with the install fees and whatever that Unity decides to do these past few months, we kind of decided, well, months. It's been a while. It's probably more than a year. I don't know. I don't know time. But yeah, we decided that, there's all these shenanigans for royalties and installment fees and whatnot. Why not open source? Why not Godot? Yes, indeed. And it was kinda an easy choice because we already been developing the Xauria, not the alpha version that you can see on the itch.io, but the updated version that we are currently in development, which is in Godot as well. We streamline the production and make our 2 production games on the same engine, Godot. Yes, indeed. I don't know time. Relatable Kaado. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And open source is the best. Yes, indeed. We love open source. Why? Well, there's no royalty, shenanigans, and stuff. That nasty stuff that usually comes by using software that's not free for people to use. Well, there's a saying that open source software usually crappier compared to paid software. In a sense, that can be true. There's a lot of stuff going on and bugs that we already have got on Godot actually on stream. Some small things, although it wasn't nothing really bad. I believe Unity is worse than Godot when it comes for buggy stuff and random crashes and whatnot. And let's not talk about Unreal, because Unreal really loves to crash, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, there is some advantage and disadvantage of using open source, and the open source software has been growing really, really good over the past few years. I'm really, let's just say, proud of development on the open source, especially on Godot, the explosion of this game engine, as well Blender. Blender used to be a really hated 3D software, with the exception of that niche developers. Everyone used to, develop 3D in 3ds Max and Autodesk softwares, and right now, have been a transition. Blender has actually exploded and it's really popular now. And I think it depends on the open source program. Godot is pretty good open source. GIMP is kinda shitty open source. Well, I believe GIMP is somewhat what was Blender in the past. I think GIMP can have some, redemption arcs, let's just say that. It's useful for editing videos, but videos not, photos, let me just say that. Some tweaks on photos, but nothing else. Because, you have Photoshop that blows out of the water GIMP because, well, it's a paid software, but it's not because it is paid. It has a lot of things that GIMP doesn't have. Well, GIMP can have, but it's kind of clunky and clumsy, and the tools and the way it works, the productivity flow can be different, and of course artists in the chat can relate to that. For example, open source artist software that I really like but I don't use, so it's a personal opinion of something that I really have hands-on. It's kind of an opinion that I hear for others. For example, Krita, I really hear that it's a really good open source software. As well Inkspace. It's Inkspace, that vector thing. But those are something that I don't personally, or our team doesn't work personally on it. But I really know a software that is open source, which is called a Sprite. Yes, a sprite is an open source, even though people see the price tag and whatnot. Yes, there is a price if you want to buy the software, but it is open source, which means you can go to, I believe it's available on GitHub, and if you know the workhouse of building a program, you can build a sprite source code from scratch and have it for free. Yes, indeed. And of course, if you like the software, obviously there's the paid version that you don't have to build the code or anything, and just pay the fee, because developers always need a way to survive. Open source might be free, but those who make it need the bread to eat, otherwise they starve to death and cease to exist. So yes, we love the open source community, but as always, everything is free, there is a price, and we kindly ask you to support developers, because if we don't, there is no open source programs to exist in the future. So there you go. If you love the program, which means Godot, Blender, they have big supporters. They have won even the Epic Games things. How was that called? The Epic rewards or something. How was that called? Let me just search for that, because I was forgetting. So Unreal, it's more an Epic Mega Grants. There you go. I didn't need to research further. So yes, Blender and Godot and a bunch of other companies have won the Epic Mega Grants. That it's kind of funny, because Epic Games, for those who don't know, it's the company that makes Fortnite, which is the company that also makes the Unreal Engine, which is a game engine, the same engine as, an engine that makes games, which is Godot. And it's funny that a company that has a game engine is given a reward to another engine. But in my mind, Godot is more of a 2D replacement of... it's not kind of... well, for us it's a replacement, but it's... Godot, it's more of a competitor for Unity than Unreal, in my eyes. Let's just put that. And yeah, I've been waffling very much for these past 10-15 minutes. So let's just stop the mumbling and waffling and, actually doing work. But before we start, obviously I'm not forgetting today. So let's see on where I put that thing. Yes, indeed. The music. Yes, indeed. So I have music to play. It's my usual pack that I own the rights to play this on stream. The music is not mine. It's not our music. But it's music that I own the rights to play on stream, YouTube, videos, games, whatever. I can do with these songs and this music whatever I want, as long as I don't sell it as my own and say it is my own, because it's not. So there you go. Obviously, I love this because, I don't like copyright strikes and whatnot. And we have some of those with the previous streams. I have not done that in a long time, which was my typical recommendation of an indie game. And I usually recommend a game and play that game soundtrack on stream, but because we have suffered some copyright strikes in the past with that, we decided to not do that. So if you were the person that usually enjoys our past indie game recommendations, you can catch them up on our socials. Yes, we sometimes post some socials with recommendation of indie games for you to play as well, because we are an indie game studio wannabe developers, you know. I say wannabe because we still don't have an actual full game for sale, and you know, we don't make our bread yet. But yeah, we love to share our love with the others as well, because you know, the indie game community, it's pretty cool nowadays with this AAA bullshit shenanigans full of microtransactions and whatnot. You know, we believe the actual good games are in the small ones, you know, like ourselves. So there you go. I have mumbled enough for now, you know. As you can see, I'm procrastinating. I'm just speaking around and around and around just so I not start working, and that's not good. So let's see what we have to do for today. So, Droian development, bug squashing and boss battles. Boss battles? That's kinda... The title of our stream, it's kinda weird. We can be bug squashing, but boss battles for today, we haven't arrived at the boss yet. So let's just focus on something fun for today. We might see bugs, because what I'm going to work on today will be something that usually is something that can bring some bugs to the game, which is enemy movement. Yes indeed, I'm going to be working on enemy movement. And right now you can see there is a test area that I'm using with some enemies as well in there. This is part of the job that I have made in previous streams, as well off camera, because I work off camera, I have to, you know. And we have made some stuff. So we have type of level streaming, somewhat working with some bugs. I'm not delve in those bugs today, I hope. I'm going to work on this guy, because we have been working on this guy in previous streams. And this little guy, which is our kinda default enemy, that has some collisions and a way to damage the player and whatnot. And let's just make it movable. Yeah, let's make it able to move around. Let's just say that. And yes, you might ask why there is a blue-green ugly thing going on in the game. This is actually part of nav mesh. If you work on other engines, it's not usually something used to make the vision of our enemies, not the vision itself, but a way for them to move around, to know where they have to move, basically. Let's just... layers. I don't want this, I want to... navigation enable. I want to have the navigation enable, but I want to do default. There you go. So I have the first show just to see where the navigation is available. This is the area basically where the enemy can move. So as you can see, it's an open area. The enemy can move around in this area, which is cool. Let me disable the area because I don't need... it's work that I have done before, so it's not really useful right now. The code that is useful right now, it is inside our enemy itself. I have made a component, which is a component based thing, which is the detection area. This detection area has some code, basically, you know, will detect if something has collided and entered the detection area of our enemy. Right now the detection area is a circle, this circle in here. We can make it a cone, we can make it whatever the shape we want, you know? Because detection area, that is the collision shape, we can make the collision shape whatever we want. which is going to basically be the vision of our enemy. And if something enters this collision, basically enters this area, it will be detected by our enemy. The thing is, everything can enter this thing and be detected, with the exception that I have set up this to only can be detected by it can only see the player, basically. So we have a bunch of layers that I somewhat in my brain know what they are and its usefulness, you know. The mask 1 or the layer 1, it's basically for objects and ground things and whatnot. The mask 2 is for player, 3 for enemies, 4, 5, 6 for projectiles and bombs and whatnot. And maybe you can use or not if needed for others, but right now 1, 2 and 3, so ground or walls or objects, whatever, player and enemy. And so I have set up this collider just to detect the layer 2, which is the layer that I have placed our player, basically. So just so for people in here to confirm this, you know. If I select the player and go to the layers, as you can see, it's only the layer 2. So there you go. The player is on, and only the player is on layer 2, and so the detection area for this enemy, layer 2, it will only detect the player itself. So it doesn't matter if I just make this crude, you know, on area to the body entered. Doesn't matter to check if this body is the player or not, because I know it is actually the player. Obviously in the future I can make an if statement and check if the body is in group player and whatnot, blah blah blah, just to make sure. But you know, for now it's working. And for those of you that might know Godot in depth, well, let's just say for those of you who are more knowledgeable in the ways of Godot than myself, you may notice that I'm still not using the A* pathfinding. I'm using the navigation server to the thing. In the future I hope to use the A* pathfinding, but for now this is the way I'm doing it, you know. I'm kinda prototyping and see if it works, you know. I'm just doing it in the way that to see it move, and then we can optimize and using A* pathfinding and whatnot. And for those of you that don't know what A* pathfinding is, it's basically a way to search for in blocks, basically. So for let's just do a quick explanation in here, because why not, and enable the navigation nav. So basically, usually pathfinding is you have 2 dots, let's just say the enemy and the player in here. Let's just drag the player so you can see it. You have a player in here, and so pathfinding will check the fastest way, or usually the possible way to get in here. And usually if it is optimized it will go forward, but if it can't go forward, it can do a bunch of things. It can try do multiple go arounds and whatnot, and it can be a mess depending on the way the pathfindings wrote. There is multiple techniques, whatever. The most common one is the A*, which is the one that I'm more knowledge about. The one that I'm using right now, it's the native Godot thing. I'm not really sure how it works on its background, but I know the one I want, which is the one that I'm knowledge. It's basically, it will check the box in between the points that we want, which is the enemy and the player, which is basically these cubes in here, and it will basically check if it can go through them. So for example, if the enemy is following the player, it will basically go, okay, the next block is this one, can I go there? Yes, so go there, and then it will check the next one, the closest one is this, so it will check, can go there, yes, and so on and so forth until there is something in the middle. And if there's something in the middle, it will basically check the neighbor blocks up and down, can go there, yes, and do the same thing. So check if there's path available to go closer, there is, good, there isn't, then check the neighbor's blocks and keep going until there is a path available to reach the player. I can explain it basically in-game. So let's just delete this visual player because our player is placed with the base scene and not this. Let's as well make the navigation visible mode to default, and there you go. Right now I have a debug code that basically going to print coordinates that will basically make a path until it arrives to our player. So basically the enemy has detected the player because the player has entered the zone of our enemy, that detection area, and so because the player has entered the detection area, now the enemy can see the player, which is something good. Now we have a path that our navigation server 2D thing from Godot has made for us, and we can basically follow that navigation area. And basically it's path found, emit, blah blah blah, which is basically already plugged into the enemy script. So as you can see, I already have the things inside the enemy script, so I have the component and the information I need already in here, and so I can program a way to you know, make the enemy follow the player basically. So for now I will make it the enemy basically follow the player, and well, let's just see a way for doing it. I have a path. This path is where is it? So there isn't anything in here. So let me see, what can I do? What can I do? Basically I have an HP for this character, I have a speed for this character, jumps, velocity, I don't know if I need it, the gravity is as well set up, which is good. So let me see, I will need some switches. This will be explained very shortly. So for now I need a var move on X, it will be a float, and at export var move on Y. This need to be on a float? I think not. So basically this enemy can move, obviously. This enemy will have a movement, there is a speed already, which is good, we can set up the speed. This enemy can move around. It will have gravity, which means we can set up this enemy to stay on the ground or not. But I can make this enemy movable on an independent axis. So let's just say I can make the enemy move on the x-axis and on the y-axis as well, which is very useful. And well, this can enable all sorts of things. Basically, we can make enemies that fly or not, but let me think. Maybe enemies that can fly should be gravity 0 and the move X and move Y not. Now I'm thinking, because it could be weird or not. Or maybe no. This is good, this is good. I'm thinking of various different types of enemies, and this is important, because, you know, I'm working on the enemy script, so it's important to think on every single enemy overall. This is basically me thinking, well, all enemies can use this script, and I can just, you know, turn on or off some switch, basically this is Boolean variables, and tell, well, this enemy can go up and down and right and left and diagonally if I want or not, and it will be affected by gravity or not, and we'll have this speed, and maybe we'll be able to jump or not, and whatever, you know? So I'm thinking on the things I need to make it move. So, add the gravity. The gravity, obviously we can affect the gravity this thing has or not. And let me see, if not is on floor, it will apply gravity. This is basically a boolean to an if statement to apply gravity and whatnot, but I also want to apply something. If gravity it's different than 0 and it's not on the floor. So it's important for this. So basically I added this condition to, you know, if we set up the gravity to be 0, it doesn't matter, because, you know, it will apply 0 in here, so 0, 0, it will be 0, so it won't do nothing. Doesn't matter. Basically this is useless in here in this case. But, you know, if I apply 0, it doesn't need to be in here, basically. It doesn't need to go check this and this, if this is 0. And it knows we have set up gravity on 0 in purpose, basically. Optimizations, even though it's really not needed currently. Now we can check the move on X and move on Y, and as well if there is a path or not, which is important. So now I'm going to check something. Path. And I'm going to make a condition. If path isn't null, that means there's stuff in there. That means that we have a path, and by default it should be null. This value should be null. And if it's not null, I will do something. I will check if I can move on the x-axis. So move, basically if move on x, if I can move on x, I will check the... I will need to see where I'm going, if I need to go left or right, which is important. So path 0. And there's a reason for me to use the 0 position. Well, let me see if I should use this or not. Yes, indeed, I should use the zero position, the zero value. So it's the first value and it should be the first one. There you go. So basically an array inside an array. So we have this array with two values and I want the first one because the first one represents the X position. So I have this position and I could check basically if path is higher than position. This is our current position dot X so if this is higher than velocity dot X will be plus equals to speed multiply by delta. I probably don't need to multiply by delta because I'm doing the physics process, which is a fixed update. Basically it will update in a fixed amount of seconds, but you know, just to make sure, you know, it's good practice to always multiply the movement that you are doing by the delta between frames, you know, just so we don't have a situation where you look at the ground and you start running sonic fast, but if you look at explosions and whatnot, you basically move very slowly, basically having the movement tied up to the frames. Let's just cough Fallout, for example, one of those bugs that you know, it's, well, not nice to see, let's just put it that way. So there is the movement applied to here, but if this is false, else we want to move it opposite ways, basically. So minus speed. I think the original Dead Space also had the mouse speed tied to the frames. Maybe. And that's, well, that's always a problem, you know? That's always a problem. I remember the fans made a mod specifically to fix that. Yes, indeed. And, well, I'm playing... Actually, it's funny, because I'm playing Fallout right now. Fallout 3 and New Vegas, they both combine with a mod, which is the Tale of Two Wastelands with the Begin Again mod list. It's a list of more than 350, probably 400, almost 400 mods, plus a bunch of plugins and whatnot. It's basically a very big mod list, and it's actually awesome. I haven't found any bugs, and well, I'm saying that because I'm trying to remember. It's a Bethesda game, you know, it's always gonna have bugs all around. The game has crashed though, and has crashed not often. It's been for like, well, if you go around in the map and fast travel a lot, because I fast travel, yes, I fast travel. I don't have a bunch of time to be walking. I like to fast travel. And it has crashed sometimes, but it's not an often thing. And in terms of bugs, you know, have been found, but again, it's heavily modded with a bunch of bug fixes and whatnot. So yeah, there you go. It's like every game company, it's let's fix our bugs, and if you have investors, the investors are like, there's no time for that, release the game if it's even buggy. And Bethesda be like, no, the fan base will make mods to fix our bugs, don't worry about that. So yeah, there you go. Some memes. And I'm procrastinating again. God damn it. Let's make fast development. So this is basically the same thing on the X, but for the Y-axis. So I can basically do a copy pasta, but this copy pasta will be different because we don't want on the X-axis. Now it will be on the 1 because it's the Y-axis value that we want. And so I will apply the same thing on the axis Y because we want verticality, so it will be on the Y, speed delta, which is the same speed vertically, doesn't matter right now. And yes, I can make different speeds for horizontal and vertical, but right now, just to make things simple, it will have the same speed. This isn't over yet, because there is another thing that I want to make, so to speak. So what I want, I have basically the movement to follow the first position, but what happens if the player, or in this case the enemy, because it's the enemy that's moving, what happens if the enemy is close to this position? Well, we'll need to check the values. Let's just say if the path, let's make 0, 0. How can I check that? Because it's near. I want a near value, not an exact value. Because I want an offset, you know? How can I do that easily? How can I do that easily? Let me see, let me think. Because I want a value. And I want easily check if that value is near my position. Because usually if I do this, position.x, obviously that's a way to do it, but the problem is the number needs to be exact, and I don't want to be exact, I want to be near. So I'll need another variable. So at export var, how should I call it? How should I call it? It's there was a proper name in English, but I'm forgetting. Let's just make it near offset. And this near offset will be a float of value dot 5, because why not? What's the name in Portuguese? Aproximado, I think. I don't know, whatever, it's near offset. I will understand. Thankfully I'm the only programmer working in this code, so it shouldn't be to approximation. Yes, but there is another name. It's not that. It's like tolerance, tolerance value. You know? When you are comparing numbers and those numbers aren't really equals. The Unreal Engine has that thing when you are comparing numbers. You can choose a node that has that value that you can make, you know, an offset. So the numbers don't need to be exactly equal but close together. close enough, you know? That's the thing that I want. So I will use the near offset. And now I'm going to think on maths, because, you know, there is some people that say you don't need math to program. And basically you don't need math to code. And I usually think to myself, those people are dumb. Because yes, you need math to program, especially these things. Especially movement. There is numbers. There's always going to be numbers in code. And you always going to need some kind of brain to do math. To basically to make things do what you want them to do. And now I have to think. So, there's this path, and I have near offset and this position X. So, I will make if the path and this value plus the near offset is higher than position X and the path the same thing, basically. But in this time it's minus the near offset and this number is below the X. If this is the case, then this means we are near this value, basically, which is really cool. But is the math mathing? Yes, indeed, it actually is, because I haven't needed the... well, basically this math is pretty easy to understand. It's nothing difficult. Imagine doing offsets and calibrations on GPS coordinates and translate them into math, into basically position coordinates inside an engine, and having the offsets and numbers. That's, well, not really hard to get those numbers. It's basically a 3 simple rule on top of another 3 simple rule, and there you go. But you know, it's actually somewhat easy after you know what you are doing, because if you don't know what you are doing, it's actually not easy. But there you go. Well, let's just say that it's easy when you know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, it's basically hard. There you go. It's the closest thing that I can give, basically. Now let me just see this, because it's important for me to check this. So it's, if it's close in here, and now I need to do the same thing for the y-axis. I could make another and do the y-axis, but I want this on a different place. So I want on the y-axis, so near offset, position y, and the y-axis, and on position y. If that's the case, then I want the path dot slice one. Can that work? Maybe I need to make this. It's not letting me do that. What if I do this? Are you annoying? Yes, you are. Let me just not mess around too much with this. Basically, the slice, let me just make sure the slice is the right thing. So, Godot slice. It's an array thing, obviously. And I want to know if the slice has some things and it's using them correctly. If I'm using them correctly, basically. So let me see, because I want to remove the first value. array slice, int begin, int end, int step, blah blah blah. So I think I'm doing it right. Maybe I don't need to get a number in there. Or it should be 0. So return the slice of the array from begin inclusive to end exclusive as a new array. The absolute value of begin and end will be clumped to the array size. Blah 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 blah. Shorthand for array slice 1. Array size. Yes, the 1 is just basically a shorthand to slice the first value, I think. If either the begin or the end are negative, they will be relative to the end of the array. So basically this in here, blah 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 blah. Okay, that is not an example, but I think it's doing the thing. I think it's doing the correct thing. So I need to place a 1 in here. Maybe do this. Path equals to paths.slice1. And that's it. Right? Right. Now I can make it, and if this is true, I kinda want to make it a cheeky thing, which is print, just so I know. And this can disappear from here. Basically what I want is path equals, I gave them the same freaking name, right? Does this work on Godot? I think it does. Self path, which is the path that I have in here, will be the same as the path, the function path. Thank you. And the Q3 will basically... No, this is not the animation that I want. On detection area, path found. How I'm doing this again? So I have on area to the body entered and on area to the body exited, and I have the function path. And the function path emits a path. And that can be problematic. Actually not. Actually not. I can always do this. On exited, do the same thing, but this time send a null value. There you go. And so, on detection area path found, if the path is equals to whatever, if the player enters, then the path is the path. But if the player leaves the detection area, then it becomes null. So there you go. Will this will probably make the enemy move somewhat. Obviously it's not right and there's a bunch of problems, and I know there's a lot of crap things going on and probably bugs, but right now there's stuff in here. So let me see. Yeah, it's not moving. Great. Well, debug time, I guess. Let me see stuff. Obviously it's not moving because the enemy doesn't have things activated. So let me just open the enemy thing, and now I will need to give them some gravity. I'm not gonna mess around with gravity, it can stay the default number, so I'm not gonna change this. What I'm going to say is, you can move on X and you can move on Y. I guess the math didn't math. Well, well, well. It's not the math that didn't math. It was actually the booleans that I have created that didn't math. Because, you know, I haven't activated the horizontal and vertical movement. It was that. It disappeared. God damn it. Bugs all around. Why are you disappearing? What kind of sorcery is this? What's in here that makes you... Well, obviously something didn't go right. Just to say everything is going wrong. Well, well, well. There's movement. At least that. I don't know why he goes forward and then goes backwards and whatnot. I don't know what the heck is going on in here. I haven't programmed this thing to do that. Where did you go? Why are you in here? Why are you doing the things you are doing? And you are bobbing around. So, we can try and understand this, but... the bobbing around, I think it's the offset. If we increase the offset, maybe he stops bobbing around. There is an ad on freaking... there is an ad. I will need to wait. Well, there you go. Let's just wait for the freaking ad. And this basically told me that we have freaking ads that it's actually working on Twitch. Alright, alright. So the ad break is over and I probably didn't show the bug happening correctly, so let's just show it happening correctly, because why not? And obviously to make it go to there I need to jump around and whatnot and then see that. This. See the thing going, bobbing up there. So I saw the bug right before the ad. So there you go. There is a bunch of bugs going on. Also a shy boy, there's an enemy that goes behind the thing and whatnot, and there's a bunch of things happening. Let's just say that. So, if I go to here, I see the matches and I see the game. There is probably an enemy in here. I don't know if I'm going to see it moving in here. Yes, I will. There is movement in here. If I change values in here, let me just see how much it bobs around. Okay, if instead of 0.5 I make it 10. Did I change it to 10? Let's just make sure. No, I didn't. So let's just make it 10 and save, restart, and maybe it will stop bobbing around. Will you do that for me? It crashed. Invalid get index 0. It crashed. It shouldn't crash because... Is the slice done after? Do I need to do this after? Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to do this after. Just make sure it doesn't crash. Okay, let me just put this in here. Just make sure it doesn't crash. Because what I'm trying to avoid is this slice to I'm trying to avoid these slice to affect the values in here, basically. It's what I'm trying to do. So let's just see what it does. Let's go close, and it's a speedy boy, and when it touches me, it basically crashes the game. So let's make this enemy slow. You are a speedy boy. I want you to be a slow boy. Now you are slow. Let's make it slow. Go near him and see what happens. It's still a speedy boy. What the hell is happening? Why are you so speedy? Didn't I save the value of speed? You should be slow now. Why are you so speedy? Why are you so speedy? Okay, now it's slow. Thank you. Oh, the speed increases. The speed increases. Oh, I may know why it's happening. Okay. So this will be equals to this, and -1 is this one. There you go. I will do the same thing in here. I may need to invert this, maybe, on the y-axis. Well, let's see. Basically, the speed was incrementing every time. I want a constant speed. And now it doesn't move, because it doesn't have enough speed. Now I need to make this 300 or whatever. Why you don't move? You were moving. Why you don't move? What is happening? What is happening? Let me watch the player code, because this might tell me stuff. So the direction is important. Let me just check physics process. There you go. Now, how I apply movement. So I have the velocity on X, move towards, and I have this and this and this. Will I need to do a move towards bullshit? Maybe I need to do this. The move towards and have an X value, 0 speed. Why not? So, I have velocity on X will be equals to move toward velocity on X, 0 speed. Now I need to understand what this 0 means. Move towards, float from to delta. Move from towards. Okay, now I understand. Now I understand. Alright. There's this. And this needs to be swapped. There you go. Or maybe this is backwards, but we can really quickly test that, so let's just see. It does nothing. I'm confused. I'm confused because, you know, it moves with this crap, but I know this is not the correct way to do it. Speed equals to minus speed, and the y-axis I'm going to let him be. I want him moving with a constant velocity. Alright, thank you very much. Now that constant velocity, I will... Don't worry, I'm going to multiply this by delta later, I just want to see a value. Well, let's just make things right, okay? So, delta, there you go. Doing things right. Now this speed value may need to be higher. Let us just do a small print. Just make sure. Just make sure. How's the value? It's moving slowly. And it stopped moving because I left, and now it's moving. So it's moving slowly. Great. Fantastic. It's doing something. I like it. I like it's doing something. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If I remove the delta, it will probably go super fast. Let me just check the player speed. Just make sure. So the speed move 150, 75. Okay, no wonder the enemy is stupidly fast. So I need to reduce its speed. Let's make it 50. And yeah, the delta is not doing nothing in here. There you go. Let's see what happens in here. Okay. I know why the array goes to 0. Because I slice enough things to go to 0. And if it goes to 0, I will need to make it null. Where's the splice thing? There's in here, splice. If path.size is 0, then path equals to null. This is just to make it not crash. And it will stop shortly, I hope. Well, it will not because it has a constant speed. So it's not gonna stop. But that's great. Now we can see stuff happening, which is good. This value goes there, that stays there until it stops. Great. And then there's no. Moonrunner, welcome. Welcome back. Yes, stuff happening. We are seeing enemies moving. Yes, indeed. There's stuff happening. Stuff equals happening. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now let me see. quick reminder to hydrate myself, because I was starting to, you know, have a dry throat. Let me see what I can do. This goes null, and if this goes null, basically, you know, it doesn't path anymore. But if this doesn't path anymore, then this velocity thing shouldn't apply anymore. But the speed stays constant, so... Let me think. Obviously I can make it stop, you know, if path is null, let's make it stop, just so it doesn't be that stupid. So x equals 0, and the velocity on y, it's affected by gravity, so probably doesn't really matter, but I will affect that. And obviously I will make it the gravity thing after this, because it's important. There you go. And then the move and slide. Alright, now we are talking. There you go. Now, when the enemy goes and do its path thing, it should stop. Come on, follow me, my friend. Go back and follow me again, my friend. Yes, follow me and stop. And follow me again and stop. Until it goes null. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now there is something weird. Oh, I understand why. Because this applies 0 and does that. That's sad. That's really sad. I don't like this. I don't like the way this is doing. So let me just... If the path goes null, then I should stop. Alright. This will disappear. The gravity, well, the gravity could go back to where it was, because why not? You know, can go back there. This is the problem. Well, I have done that because the velocity on X reset was affecting its gravity. It shouldn't do that. So let's just make it... Why the hell I was typing D? Let me see. There is a lot going on in chat. They're making pizza. Now I'm envy because I will have to do dinner today. That reminds me that I need to finish the stream earlier, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I am already on 1 hour and 24, but yeah. There is... Wow, we have dropped frames, but not a lot, 0.1%, so that's fine, as long as it stays like that. So, there you go. More food talk, which is not great for my tummy. South America coffee does it different. It's quite... yeah. Talking about coffees, I like mine espresso. So I'm Portuguese, and we in Portugal, our coffee is an espresso coffee. If you go to coffees in Portugal and you ask for a coffee, they only give you a espresso coffee, which is very strong. Let's just say that. If you want other types of coffee, you ask for an American coffee, which we call dirt water. And I prefer my coffee with a blend of Arabic grains, which is basically a blend with Brazilian coffee, Colombian coffee. There is, I believe, Vietnamese coffee as well in mix in there, and Ethiopian. So it's a mix of 4 coffees in one, and in an espresso form. So yeah. Pizza is cancelled. We forgot to bow the dough. Oh, that's not fun. Well, you always have the famous telepizza, you know? That is, favorite is those fancy Starbucks style coffees and blah blah blah. Actually, there's that as well, but yeah, that's not my thing. I'm an old stick to its roots guy. If I drink coffee, I like my coffee, you know, like an espresso coffee, small coffee that you drink on the regular cafes we have in Portugal. Yeah. But I also like latte in the mornings, which is another thing that Starbucks usually has, a pretty good latte. Well, most of the coffees in Starbucks, I actually call them lattes, because they aren't coffees, they are coffees and something else. So there you go. Oh, I need to check out some Vietnamese coffee. Yeah, it's a blend. It's basically one of those things that you buy. Well, it's instant coffee. It's not a great coffee. It's not the coffee that you grind and you do that all ritual thing, because I don't have time for that, and nor the money, because those things are expensive. It's just one of those espresso pods that has a blend of grains, and it's basically a strong grain made from Vietnamese coffee, which is a blend for Vietnamese, Brazilian, Colombian, and Ethiopian coffee, which is basically all over the world. Coffee is mixed together and makes a strong coffee, and I really like that. No sugar, of course. Well, my taste doesn't really matter, because I'm again procrastinating and not doing the freaking job. God damn it. Focus on the job. Let's focus on the freaking job. Let me see. This is working. This is actually working. So let me just show you how this is working. I'm going to do something else. So the enemy detects the player, it generates a path to follow, and it starts following said path. Now, let's just try and do something different. I'm going to draw a barrier. I actually would love to see a pretty barrier, please. There you go. There is a barrier. I believe I have gravity enabled, so it may have difficulty doing what I want him to do now. Yes, as expected. See? It's trying to go forward, but it can't go forward. That's a thing. And if I go to the enemy, let's just go to the enemy, and I make it actually 0. Come on. Do I need to do that? God damn, I will need to change this. This is not acceptable. I will need to change this. But right now it should work. So the gravity is super low. Why are you doing what you doing? Let me pick the enemy. So let's pick the enemy, move it down, and let's see. Always wanted to try the real deal. Real equals cheap. Yes, yes indeed. I'm not liking the movements, but I may have an idea why this is happening, and I'm not liking it. Let's do something temporary. Something that I didn't want to do, but temporarily I'm going to disable the collision of our enemy, just to make sure and to see what the hell is happening. What are you doing? Wait, why are you doing what you're doing? Yes, indeed, that's the question. That's the philosophical question of this stream. Why are you doing what you're doing? If the collision is disabled, then this thing actually works. Come on, follow me. It's kind of been weird. But if I disable the collision, it actually works. He has a way with words. Well, my English is not the greatest, and I have a pretty funny accent. Even in my native language, my accent is known for being funny, even though it's the accent where the Portuguese country was born. Because my region is basically the region where the Portuguese country actually was born. The first king of Portugal was born in a small place close to where I live and where I was born, you know. And throughout the millennia, you know, the years, not millennia, it was, Portugal is not that really old, but it is one of the oldest countries in Europe. So let's just say that. And it was moved, the place where the capital was. And let's just say people that are what I like to call one of those posh people from Lisbon, which is basically the capital of Portugal. They think they don't have accents and they speak the real Portuguese, but you know, my patriotic heart, you know, likes to think we of the north actually speak the real Portugal with the proper accent. And it is kind of a funny accent, we have funny words and whatnot, but you know. Oh, Murica! Huh. Well, yeah, something patriotic like that, but without the guns. Yeah, let's just say that. And talking about America, they actually have a lot of accents, which is kind of funny. We have this typical thing, you know, haha, there's the British accent and American accent, but if you look inside America, there's actually a very different variety of accents. You can go from New York to LA and there is a way different methods of them talking with each other, which is, you know, a thing. We have tons of accents. Yep, there you go. Which is something, you know. Well, to be true, every single place has its own accent, you know, and funny ways of talking, which is something. I'm from the south originally, so I'm well aware. Yep, there you go. Well, it's probably something regionally. Different places have different ways to talk, so yeah, there's that. It's got to infinity and beyond. Where did you go, buddy? Are you still moving? You are still moving. Because of gravity, of course. The stupid value from gravity. Well, let me see. Let's go to code and see what we can do. First off, I need to enable the collision. I will need to enable the collision. So, enemy, go to the collision and re-enable the collision again. Now, I will need to detect the collision in the enemy code. Let me just see that. There's this. And there's velocity. Let me think a way I can do this. What will be a proper way of doing this? And not is on wall. And if, well, I need to move on y-axis, but not being on the ground though. The ground should be fine though. The x value is a problem, and the y value is a problem. This will not work. I shouldn't do this. This will not work. I will need to think in another way to do this. I really need to think on a way to do this, because the x value and the y value, but then there's this, and it will never trigger this if the player is colliding with something. If there's this and if there's that, path slice. But we'll never get to these points because it's colliding. Alright, let me just do something different. Alright, let us do something really different. So this if, I'm going to delete that, I'm going to make it an end. There you go. There's this. There's this and that. Let me get these values. Basically, I'm just checking if there's near the x-axis and y-axis, and I shall basically divide them with an enter. There you go. There's this. Doesn't break my code. This enter breaks my code. God damn it! It needs to be in the same line. I really don't like this. What if I do an enter and delete the tabs though? Do you complain? Yes, you do. Alright, I'm going to do a really freaking long... What the hell did I just do? I scroll up the sizing. Alright, let's just hope that is the correct size in there. There you go. Now let's just... Hope this stays more smoothly. There you go, and stuff. So I want this and this. Great. But I will make it another condition. Is on wall. If I'm touching the wall, I want to slide. To slice the path. So it cuts the path. There you go. Is this a function? I believe it is. If I'm on the wall, if I'm touching a wall, I want the path to be sliced. It's probably not gonna work. Obviously it's not gonna work, because I know what's going to happen. Yep, that's not gonna work, but it was the fault. That's important. So this is not gonna work. Now I need another way of thinking of it. Let's just go back to the two ifs thing. How will I make it go close to that? I can increase the offset if I'm touching the walls. But this can give a problem as well. This can give problems as well. How can I fix this? That's the question. But that's near the time. Yep. Let me see the time. Let me see the time. So it's 1 hour and 40 minutes. Yes, indeed. Just checking some stuff. Alright, let's try to actually do something and then we'll call it. So, let's see if I can actually make something useful of this. Otherwise, yeah. Now, what can I do to make it move? Because I will need to mess around with the movement, otherwise it's just stuck in the freaking wall, you know? Trying to go to a place that it actually can't go. See? This cannot happen. This cannot happen. Can I edit directly the nav mesh though? But that's going to be not great though. That's going to be not great. And I think the navigation thing, it's also not using the nav mesh as well. Let's just see. The nav mesh, the navigation enable, I'm going to disable the navigation. The navigation is disabled now. I think it doesn't use. I think the navigation server system thing doesn't use the nav. What the hell? Where are you going? Where are you going? Why are you going to infinity and beyond? What the hell is going on? Why are you moving to infinity and beyond, my friend? Alright, it actually used navigation. Good. That's a good thing. That's actually a good thing. Now, let's enable it and check it's working. Good. Now I'm going to edit a little bit of the navigation mesh thing. I will need to go to the tile set config, and right now the chip tile set is the only one that has the property. Let me just select something. Come on. Navigation. Layer, and there's that. So let's delete this from here, I wanted to delete this, so now I'm going to do this. Can't I just paint around? Last time was working, but I may not remember. Clear. Maybe I'll need to go one by one and clear. This will all make sense shortly. Let me just do this. So basically these things that will make the navigation real close to the wall might give some problems, and I'm just going to make them disappear. Let's just make them disappear. Clear. This is something that I painstakingly made one by one, and now I'm deleting, which is kinda annoying, but it's not something, you know, that we can fix. And I'm doing this basically to make the pathfinding not go really close to the wall, so the colliders can basically navigate through this and only through these openings, you know? And now, with the navigation thing, then I can select this, go to the navigation section. Where is that? That is physics, navigation. There's navigation 1, and we can make multiple navigation stuff. And now I can make the force show, and as we can see, the navigation now, it's not close to the wall. This might help our problem. It's still learning how to be a good navigator. Yes, indeed. I think he's very USA because of the America. That's the meme, you know? Let's take off the force show because I don't really like that much, and let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, we almost got it. It's not the meme, but it's somewhat working. You can see it's bobbing around and doing some weird stuff, but it's kinda working. It's kinda working. As well, there's your typical bug. It's not stopping moving. for some weird reason. But it's moving, and it's kinda following the player. Now I will need another trigger, though. And I probably don't have the ways to do it. Because I will want to make this detection area and trigger it again. Doing this. If the path is null and the player is still in there, I would like to do it again, you know. That's the thing. Let's make it something. So function physics process delta. This is not the way how you should do it, by the way. I don't know if the emit path is a copy or is actually a reference. I hope it's a reference because it needs to be. That is something that I want to make just so it updates. Basically, I will make a variable var in range, and it's a bool and it's false. On body entered, path and the range is true, and on exited in range false. And in here, if in range and path, just this path, I want this path, it's a variable in here, is it? God damn it. So I can't see if this is null or not. So let me just do this, equals null. If this path is in here, so that should fix the problem, but now there's the same name. Pathfinding, path. If this path goes null, then pathfind again. There's errors in there. Cannot assign a value to of type node to a variable path with specific type package vector to array. Right. Does it need to be? Let's see. It's null, but it didn't trigger that, so this is not gonna work. So everything I've done it for nothing. Great. So let me see. Path. There is detection area, path. Alright. What can I do?
Emotional damage!
Yes, it's very, very emotional damage. God damn it. Bobbing up and down kinda fits with the wing flapping animation. Yes, and have in mind this is a function of being able to go wherever he wants, basically. Let me think. I want to call path to refound this in here. Spring path. There's a problem. If I do this path and this null, this cannot be path. This needs to be null. Otherwise, problems. Much problems. I mean, it's in here, so... Alright. Now I see a solution. I will need that thing again, so var in range. It's a bool, it's false. There you go. On body entered, in range, true. Exited, in range, false. And this path if in range, then emit the path. There you go. No, this cannot be because I don't want it to be doing this if it's not in range. So if in range, then does that. There you go. Just needs this. If exits, false and emits no, does that, emits no, emits this. Yeah. If it's not in range, then it will not emit nothing and it will stay null. Great. Now, in enemy, when it gets to this, when path size is 0, I don't want this to be null. Well, I will make it null and we'll make it call again, basically. So I will delete this, detection, area, dot, path. There you go, because it's the function, this function, path. And it will calls the thing that applies this thing, that does this thing, and thing, basically. Let's see. Will you follow me to infinity and beyond? No, you will shake and shake and shake and do nothing. Why you do? Why are you like you are? Eh? Why are you like you are? Maybe I need this. Maybe that's what was missing in there. Was it? I don't think so, but maybe it was. I think it is. There's still bugs to be polished and stuff, but you know, yeah, he goes away. There's still bugs to polish around with this detection system, but it's kinda following me, so we are in the right track. When I go away, it just goes to infinity and beyond, but you know, that's when I basically it's when I'm not in range. It triggers its bullshit that makes it go away. But yeah, it's kind of working. Obviously, just let's make it a shit, right? Let's go in here, just so people don't see it. It's not this. Where is the thing that I want? There's a detection area. Don't tell anyone that I'm doing this, because you know, it works! Yay! It kinda works, and it's following me, and it's going and follows me. Yay! Obviously, there's bugs to be polished around. If I go away, he starts to go to infinity and beyond, and then there's the shakes as well, these weird shakes. Well, it's not doing right now, but it will do it if I go somewhere. These shakes where he's on the air. See? Weird shakes. Yeah, there's still things to polish, but you know, bugs around. It wouldn't be a Kaado stream without bugs. So yeah, the enemy is somewhat following me. And yeah, we have arrived at 2 hours, and I will have to cook very soon, so as usual, let's finish with a bug. I will pause the music and do the usual plugs while I ask people to find, you know, our usual raid targets. So let's talk about our usual plugs. So this stream will be available on YouTube if you want to rewatch it and catch up. We always post our VODs on YouTube as well. The links are down in the description. We as well have other platforms. Yes, indeed, I haven't talked about our Discord platform. Yes, we have a Discord platform. We are usually active in there, so give us a follow there and say hi. We are always well, it is always a pleasure to see new people there. That is not the only platform we have. We have, you know, other platforms like Instagram and Twitter or X, whatever Elon Musk decides to call his platform. It's actually reminds me, if you want to know who's the next streamer will be, it's always a good idea to follow us there, you know, because we usually post there who's the next streamer, even though we never know, you know, the next streamer for next week. We usually post there in some days, you know. So there's that as well, and the links are in here. So if you go to socials on our website, or the links down in the description, which is basically in there, you just need to scroll down if you are on Twitch, go to the comment section if you are on YouTube. There is all the links in there for our official website made by Roxy, which is pretty good. You know, you are seeing the website right now. Yes, indeed. We have Instagram, Discord, indiedev, each, and all other platforms in the indiedev is not in here. We probably have dropped that. But yeah, there's that. Well, TikTok. For shorts, we have shorts, which is something good. That's always nice to see. And Facebook, if you are a boomer like me, well, I'm not a boomer, I'm 30 years old, I'm actually a millennial, but you know, I still use Facebook, so I'm some of a boomer myself, if you want to call that. I actually use Facebook just for Messenger, but there you go. There's that. I don't use TikTok though. This is too young for me, let's just say that. And I appreciate the shorts on YouTube. We publish shorts in there as well, but shorts are very addicting, and it's the same model as TikToks. I want to release Droian someday, so I avoid time sinking things like this. But yeah, we are in there as well. So I think there's no raid today, so yeah, that's it. I don't need to mumble anymore. So as usual, I have, arrive at the end of the stream with a bug, because there's not a Kaado stream without ending without a bug. And let's do our outro. So I hope you have enjoyed the stream, and see you next time on the same channel. No stream for today, no raids. So there you go. Bye bye.